Hey, Spuddies! Potato Big Whiskey here, and welcome back to Let's Play Civilization 6 as Nubia. We're in the process of killing Georgia. We have a few open questions that we need to ask and answer. WTF is Civilization 6? No, RIP, John. Now, I think it would be fun to just settle a few cities down here in the tundra. So like if we settled this city, like we capture at least 2 copies of oil, a copy of coal, we have a decent harbor. Okay, that's a +2 harbor with a +2, that's a +4 harbor actually. And then we could put another district right there. If we so wanted to, we could probably scale pretty hard off of a commercial hub if we wanted a lot of gold right there. Then there's almost certainly another city in either of these 2 tiles. It's a question of, do we want it to be closer to this city, right? It reaches out to here. In which case we'll go on this nice freshwater tile, or do we want it to be closer to the coal to the left? And I think in the late game it's better to space your cities out to claim as much land as possible. So I do think that it would be good for us to get a couple of settlers down here. We could make good use out of this. We could put a harbor right there. We could put a commercial hub. You know, we can kind of pump up really strong gold production in these cities. And gold is one of those resources that is very useful in the late game. Now coming into Kerma, we finished an encampment. That's because we finished the encampment training because we wanted to do the World's Fair, because we kind of wanted to see if we could get some diplomatic victory points, and I think that would be quite fun, so we will continue to do that. We do have Georgy Zhukov. I'm going to teleport him or transfer him to Poti. We're still in the process of building up our air fleet, both financially and productionally. I think this is America, which is a great song by the OG Little Gambino. I think we're going to blow up these cities and keep pushing north, maybe to capture some more. I think I might go through Georgia to America. I have an Inquisitor over here, that's fine, and a bomber. Now I think the plan was to bomb the city, El Mirador, be part of the long-term process of conquering the world. We are going to want to get control of El Mirador because there's a lot of aluminum in there, and that means a lot more aircraft. As far as I can tell, nobody's actually close to winning the game, so we don't really need to worry about anything as it currently stands. I do want to Google search for railroads in my empire here. We've got pretty good railroad here. You know what would be great? A railroad map mode. That'd be sick. And that would just like automatically pull this up. Somebody commented that maybe I should have killed Ayutthaya, and hindsight 2020, killing Ayutthaya actually would have been the moderate position. If I had blown up Ayutthaya, raised the city, I could have settled a city here and like up here, and I would have got an extra 2, possibly even 3 cities in here. Like if you think about this, if we settled a city right there, 1, 2, 3, we could have settled another city like in and around here. There could have been like seriously extra potential out of this land, at least 2 extra cities. So that's probably something I should have considered. Unfortunately, I didn't consider it, so it is what it is. Anyway, let's get on moving to the next turn. Okay, campus research grants in Moreau. Let's do another campus research grant. We'll be able to squeak one in before the World's Fair ends. El Kuru did an encampment training. We won't be able to squeak one in before it ends. I do think it's worth it to go for the military academy because of the long-term benefit from the third alternative in fascism, giving us culture and gold, which will help fuel our military and our cultural economy. The great thing about that culture is it prevents anyone from winning a culture victory. We may want to start considering international trade routes with some of our suzerain city-states, like Ayutthaya, in which case starting to plug in something like Visselbanken starts to become really good. The question is, I'm trying to remember which, or do we want to just keep growing our cities in terms of trade routes? Maybe the internals are better. I tell you, I'm going to start moving these trade routes over to these newly conquered lands because I don't think they need to be in my old lands. El Mirador, we'll keep chipping away at El Mirador. Partially to level up our aircraft, partially just to keep our units busy. We have a bomber over here. We don't have anything we can do here. Ugh, New Orleans, what a terrible city. I'll rebase a bomber to Poti. We'll start bombing Chikumi. There we go, 1, 2, and 3 bombing runs. The city is now weakened severely. And have a builder charge. Let's go get that copper. Okay, we have access to the supply convoy and the tank. This is great. The combination of these 2 things gives you a 5 movement, 95 combat strength unit when fully upgraded and fully chooched. In terms of ideology, we can plug in lightning warfare if we want to start producing heavy tanks faster. That will be part of the plan once we have access to oil. Otherwise, we can get another spy thanks to ideology. In terms of technologies, we have combustion, we have artillery, so we need to start thinking about creating some trifecta artilleries We definitely want to get offshore oil rigs to get access to more oil because we don't actually have any oil right now. In fact, if we do a search for oil, there's 2 copies of oil down here. There's a copy of oil all the way out here. We've got an oil right there. There's oil here. There's oil here. There is some oil inside our empire, so we are going to want to try and get a hold of that. I tell you what we're going to do. We definitely want economic union for the harbor adjacency. I think we can drop scripture now at this point in the game. I think faith is starting to fall off in terms of its value because we can use, well, faith is still useful because we can use it to build our land military like artillery and stuff like that. But we want actually extra builder charges in this weird situation, but is it worth it? Is it worth it to go for builder charges? I don't know if it is. I do think builder charges are worth it. They're one of the biggest expenses in the entire game. Theater Square Festival is just finished in here. Coming into Tbilisi, let's go into the Empire map mode. We can start thinking about how we want to set this city up. We have, of course, some what I consider to be like hard lock tiles that we can't change. The city doesn't have a harbor. It does need to get to 16 population. If we are going to do that, then I'm going to buy a trader in here so that the city can trade to grow. It already has a entertainment complex, a theater square, and a holy site, and an encampment and a campus. So I would like to... Is that a reef? I can't tell if that's a reef. No, I think it's just a fish. So I would like a harbor on this tile. That would make the city better. And yeah, and then I think the only real sort of changes we need to make are maybe to add some lumber mills to the city to get its productivity up. 1, 2, 3. We probably don't need that tile. We'll give that to a different city. So yeah, these farms here, I think, are not necessarily worth keeping around. Potty will struggle to grow, so it is going to want / need a trader. I'm going to trade with Moreau in there. That's +7 food, so we do need to consider how the city is going to grow. I'm going to say focus on food and production. Yeah, the kind of buildings that they've built in here make it hard to grow this city. In theory, if we had high appeal neighborhoods with urbanization, the extra food would come from public transport, but I don't think that's where that's going to come from here in Potty. I reckon what we'll do is we'll replace this with a pasture, and then these 3 farms. Did we get replaceable parts? That's +1 farm adjacency for farms. That would make these worth a little bit more. Otherwise, this city's just going to really struggle to grow. Yeah, I think we kind of have to stick with these kind of basic farms. Like, they're not great, but we'll leave those farms as is. I will say you should build a trader. Let's make sure we do the bombing of Tukshumi, okay? And now that the city is weak enough, we're going to step in with our cavalry army and capture it. Excellent. We will swoop in with an Inquisitor as well to hopefully convert it. Let me come into this city and I will faith purchase another Inquisitor. We will be keeping the city, of course, and we'll get some repairs going in here. Fantastic. Now, Batumi has built a trader. Where would this trader be best situated? So you cannot reach... Oh, you can actually reach Moreau. And so we will head for Moreau. Let's grab a... We don't necessarily need the broadcast center in here. We have most of the districts we actually do care about. It might be good for us to work on a builder in here. I think we can retool and fix up this land once we have a builder. Harbor shifting completed in He. Do we want to keep growing He? He is at its housing limit. It has a holy site. It has a harbor. We could go for the commercial hub to get a ton of gold income, which will fuel our military misadventures. I definitely feel like there's a builder or 2 in here. There's a lot of land that needs to be sort of improved, so I'll grab myself a builder in He. In terms of this trade route, I'm actually going to send it to Moreau because Moreau needs some growth. We finished a theater square project in Tbilisi. I'll grab myself a builder in there. We can start retooling land. I think we just got a admiral. Deploy my fighter, hopefully to provoke the Mayans into attacking him so that I can get experience on him, or just use it against enemy ground troops in the area. Now, the city of Zugdidi, we are going to trade with Moreau for a ton of food, a little bit of production. That's going to help skyrocket the city into being useful. We do have bombing capable. Oops, I misclicked on the campus while I had the bomber selected, which was unfortunate. Would have been nice if he basically loses a turn. God, I wish we had the undo button. Alas, we do not undo in this house. I'm going to start putting my privateers to sleep because I don't necessarily need them for anything. The obs balloon will be useful once we actually start getting oil. So Batumi is going to be a preserve city for sure. One, two, three, four. Wow, I'm going to need to get this to 13 population before we can get the focus on that food. We need to get this city to 13 population before we can build a preserve. And the idea is that the preserve will provide food and yields to continue fueling these cities, while also providing amenities through the construction of national parks. Georgia wants peace. Nope. You still feed the world, and so you shall never be forgiven for that. Let me rebase this fighter back here. Industrial zone logistics completed in Napata. Yeah, I think we basically secured this. Grab me a spy in Napata. Sadanga finished harbor shipping. Let's get some repairs and things built. The Gurdwara needs to be repaired. We want the airport, and then the Ferris wheel for amenities is always nice. Double checking what luxuries are available. No luxuries are available on the market, so we don't need to do anything with that. Let's go ahead and bomb the city, and then we will tell Tombos, or rather this Inquisitor in Tombos, to go to sleep. I do like Joaquim Marquis Lisboa because he will allow us to accumulate less war weariness, which is beautiful. The trader in Moreau, we want to focus on growth, but also we want to focus on getting trading posts. So like we have a trading post in Kawa, which is over here. So we already have this trading post, so we don't need the trading post there. So I'm going to work on getting a trading post in Tbilisi that'll allow us to get our trade network up and running. This bomber needs to be relocated to Kshumi so that we can actually begin bombing Philadelphia, which looks like it was a city that was captured from America. The bombing is underway. We are going to want to probably do a little eco-fascism by getting conservation. So let's have a think about where our preserves are going. The most important thing is to try to get your preserves adjacent to land tiles. So I think a preserve here is fantastic. A preserve here is fantastic. Then this city, one, and a preserve here is fantastic. Okay, so this is kind of like the opening proposal, and we're going to adjust this proposal based on where we can fit our national parks. So we want national parks because they're good for amenities. So I'm going to designate some national parks right here. National parks are great for amenities. It's also just a lot of fun to do. Do we want that many national parks, or do we want, well, I definitely feel like we could fit a couple national parks around. If I move this here, I lose the coal tile, but I can fit a national park in between these two preserves pretty comfortably. And then if I move this preserve to the left one tile, we can fit a national park in here. And when it comes to the preserve tiles, you want those to be high appeal so they get the bonus yields. We're kind of like planning out the empire. And so the logic here is pretty simple. By using these preserves, like, yeah, of course, it's not really going to help our win condition, but we don't really care about a win condition. We're playing. So by putting preserves here, these 6 tiles can be boosted, and then the overlapping tiles of the 2 preserves can be used to make a national park, and we can kind of create a nice little national park ripple. And then the stuff that's in between can be lumber mills, basically, is like the logic that I'm following. So like this can all be lumber mills, because that's the best use of Tundra that we can make use of. Okay, Tukshumi has been converted. We are still building those. Excellent. Go stand over there while we wait. This trader from Tbilisi to Moreau. We do want to grow these cities if we can. +3 era score. There's harbor shipping. We'll build a Ferris wheel. Encampment training has been completed in Tombos. I think we need a builder in here to get that oil up. Encampment training in Kawa has been completed. There is some oil over here that we would love to get a hold of, so we're going to build a builder right there. A theater square was completed in Solab, so I'll go ahead and grab that amphitheater. May as well build up the culture, although there is actually some oil up here as well. So I tell you what, it's a lot of builders, but it is necessary. We are starting to see the first stages of climate change hitting our empire, which is not great. Climate change is never going to be too good, but it also isn't going to stop us with our plans, generally speaking. Me, when I'm an oil corporation. So we're bombing Philadelphia. I have a couple of units that they want to threaten. I'll bring up a couple of cuirassiers, and we can use our overwhelming numbers to get a kill here. Perfect. Philadelphia should fall soon. I would in Tukshumi, we do need more builders to kind of rebuild that land. If I was playing like what I call lazy optimal, where I just wasn't wasting time doing actions that don't increase my victory condition, I would probably do a lot less stuff right now. But the game is more fun if you play it. Does that make sense? Like, the optimal way to win the game is to play the game less. I don't know how to explain that, but like if I just ignored retooling and building all this land and just focused 100% on killing every player right now, that's the optimal way for me to win the game. But that doesn't mean it's the optimal way to have a good time. And we're not like, and I think that's a big thing. And like I think it even applies to dating, where it's like people are optimizing to like get a date, get a girlfriend, get a partner, get married. And it's like, why not just optimize to have a good time? Optimize to have a good date. Optimize, like, try to have a good time. You know, you don't need to optimize how many dates you're getting, bro. Like, just to have fun. You know, you only live once. And people made fun of the YOLO kids, but I actually think the YOLO kids, there was some wisdom in there. I'll build another builder in Tbilisi. Actually, you know what we need? We need a supply convoy to help our armies. We're gonna bomb El Mirador. There's the lumber mill, excellent. Now, bomber, bomber, bomber. And then we hit Philadelphia. So Philadelphia has been hit. We could liberate it. We're going to keep it. It's our city, man. We're gonna... Do we want to do a domination victory? Is that how we want to try to win? I mean, theoretically, we could win in 2 turns. So let's see if we can pull that off. Because it would be a lot of fun to close out the game with a diplomatic victory after killing Georgia, like, in anger. I find that to be really funny. It's like, I killed Georgia, and everyone's like, yeah, this guy, he's got the best diplomacy. You know what I mean? So I'm going to hold off on doing anything too crazy for now. Okay, so there's totalitarianism. We're going to plug in the old fascism, +2 era score. We definitely want third alternative. There's a lot of golden culture in there. The other one is martial law. I don't necessarily know if we want martial law. Liberalism is nice for, you know, national liberalism is nice for the amenities. It's gonna be hard to build builders with that card though. So let's do public works. We'll keep that in because we are building a few builders. It would be nice to have cheaper units, so we'll plug in levy en masse. So venture, we've got a bunch of boosts. Excellent. So there's totalitarianism. Is there diplomatic victory points in here anymore? I don't remember how that works. Maybe they're like deeper into the tree. We would like... I don't know if we need to do a nuclear program. Let's go to Cold War. Encampment training in Kerma. Let's get our military academies up. I think those are really worth building. We got a builder in here. Let's get that oil. We lost some aluminum to the floods. Oh yeah, there is flooding that's flooding the aluminum. That's probably something we should have considered. Oh well. I'm not really sure how we're going to guarantee our victory with the World Congress, but I'm willing to give it a go to see if we can get victory with the World Congress. I just think it would be really funny if we did. So let's just shift enter the turn and see what happens and see if we can get a victory. Okay, she's denouncing me. Number 1 victory royale. So the strategy to winning this is we vote down ourselves because everyone's going to vote us down, which means we lose 1 victory point. And then we try to win both of these. Campus or city center? Campus or city center? I'm going to go with campus. And what kind of city states are on the map? Let me see here. I'm going to go with culture. Okay, so there's a chance we win the game here. If we can make campus and cultural city states win their respective categories, that's a victory. Whoa, fingers crossed. Did we win? Did we outsmart the AI? It looks like we did. Get absolutely annihilated. Stood against aggression. The Georgian feed the world aggression.
You did not do this merely to brighten your own glory, but
I did.
Because dignity belongs to each of us.
Get annihilated. I can't believe I managed to accidentally outsmart the AI and win a diplomatic victory. Oh, that was so fun. God, this game is so good. Even the bad bits are fun and good. You guys asked for it. This is what you wanted. This is what you wanted. The religion's founded graph. There it is. Pixelate that. That's dirty. All right, I love you all very much, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.